And Maria, I've also made you the host in case someone joins. All right, so to maybe kick things off, Roobee, if we can ask you to just introduce yourself, kind of what you do and how you got into product management and customer experience.
Thanks, Taha. So as Maureen explained, I've been a product manager for about 8 years, but my entry into the industry was through customer service. So a lot of the my first interaction into the market was dealing with customer issues and support. And many times you find that when you're designing a product or a customer journey or getting to know how to sell or launch a product to a customer, the very initial understanding is to understand your customer's pain points. So my journey grew from there, and I evolved into being a product manager within first the telecommunication industry and now in the fintech.
Great. Mussa, also your side, make pretty quickly maybe.
Okay. My name is Mussa. So I come from a user experience design background. So I've been a user experience consultant for a while. And so basically it is that every time you deal with a user, you keep on understanding what the pain points are and like what exactly you should build. So I've made some mistakes before, and I think right now as a product manager, it's the right time for me to grow the skills and making better products.
And as always, we learn more from the mistakes that we make than the successes. Cool. So to jump into today's topic, the last webinar was really kind of like getting us acquainted with customer experience a bit. And this webinar is really a bit more of a deep dive into the customer journey. And maybe we start off with why is the customer journey kind of important, and how does it relate to customer experience as a whole? Yes, is maybe I could ask, maybe Mussa, you can start this time.
Okay, so maybe to start, like everything that we interact, every good experience that we interact is designed by someone. It's not made by accident. So customer journey is basically paving the way for the user to achieve his or her goal while experiencing your services or product. So why we map our journey so as to get into the shoes of our customers, to understand not only the actions that the person does while interacting with the product, but also understand the emotions, capture the emotions that we're doing, understand the cross-functional stakeholders that are required for your customer to achieve the desired goal. So it's a whole holistic approach, and it's all covered in just one visual process.
Okay. Roobee, maybe from your side?
Yeah, to add to Mussa, having a more business background with product management and customer related journey. A customer's journey, not only does it start when they start interacting with a product, but in the very initial stages when a company is trying to create awareness for them. So it's very important to design product strategies or service strategies from the very initial step and understanding what their targets are. Often, a lot of business strategies are created focused on just the business needs, and they forget about the customer and end up creating features and services that are not very customer centric or are not impactful for the individual. So customer journey is a very essential part when deriving business strategies.
So maybe to also, thanks Roobee for your talk, just to summarize, maybe like, is it is it correct to say that the customer journey needs to be thought about from the beginning, like you should start thinking about it at the very beginning, and maybe from Mussa's standpoint that nothing should be left to chance, right? So the entire process, like whatever interactions you have with the customer, you want to be in control as a business. And so it's important to then, that means plan and kind of figure things out as much as possible. Is that correct? Maybe?
Yes, it's very correct. Many times, so from the very initial stage when goals or business objectives are set, it is also beneficial to create and understand the buyer's persona. So the people that are going to interact with this product, what is their persona? And this is usually how you segment your customers to the brand that you want to create. If you start creating too many personas, you're going to get confused. So with the goals that you have and the kind of market you want to target, you have to create personas and put as Mussa said, put yourself in their shoes and understand what their motivation is, what their pain points are, what makes them go to Instagram and search for a product rather than walk into a store physically. And which platforms they prefer to kind of work through. Yeah.
Okay. So you need to do a lot of homework and lay the foundation in terms of your strategy and your segmentation before you start kind of really mapping out the customer journey. Is that correct?
That is correct. So very key is in any way when we're creating a business plan, it's important to understand what the internal goals are. And then you can envision what your customer journey should look like. But one way to actually see whether this customer journey is going to be effective is to now actually go into the market and do surveys. So a lot of times when you're creating these personas and getting to know people's motivations, there's techniques like surveys that are used to capture the customers' insights into even the competitive products, their experience, and UI UX. Mussa can add into it, whether it's preferable for them to click on the left or the right, because some of these things also initiate sales on how certain placements and understanding of a site or a product is done. And a very good way or a method that is known is voice of customer. So these are simple questions that you ask a customer and that initiate, or you start to understand what their thinking process is like. Things like why they chose to purchase X instead of Y, why they keep choosing the same company. So these are some of the questions. As you ask the customer, you are actually in the process, or you're taking the steps to actually designing a customer journey. And then you go back into the process and look at what was the expectations or vision from a business perspective and what the market is actually talking about, and kind of create or kind of bridge the gap.
Okay, great. Mussa, maybe did you want to add something on things that you want to do before you start kind of creating your journey?
So it's not just adding on what Roobee says, like, so I'm a big TV show guy. So there's this Netflix show, it's called Narcos Mexico. So like every time the protagonist, when he's troubled, he could say like in chaos, there's always opportunity. So while the benefits of mapping a journey, customer journey map, you also get to see like the pain points that the customer is suffering. But through those pain points, you can see opportunities or unmet needs. Unmet needs. So you can introduce maybe a new service or any business, you can start from there. So actually, you can even spy on what a provider or supplier is doing to understand the customer's journey. Through the pain points, that's when you can add on a service, just like the iPhone business. Apple made iPhones, And then people, like this, they're delicate, they're expensive. So someone made phone covers to protect them. So it's just that, it's just pain points to come up with more opportunities.
So a lot of the questions that Roobee was talking about will help you, just not just in terms of customer experience, but it's really about helping you as a business and identify more opportunities to grow.
Yeah.
So I think we talked a lot about background. Maybe now we can jump into, if now you kind of have a good understanding of your business, where you want to go, who you're serving, what would be one of the first things you're going to start doing to kind of create a customer journey? Mussa, maybe we can start with you.
Okay. So the first thing, because I said it's goal based. So the first thing is to state the goal, like what do you want a customer to achieve. So with that initial step, that will pave the way for next steps. So Roobee worked on that a lot. So I don't want to finish up your words because you could take on that.
Oh, you can go ahead, Mussa.
Okay. All right. So, like as you say, once you set the target, you need to identify like the buyer's persona. Like who is your customer? Like you just start narrowing down. You can tackle like every customer. So you just need like one specific persona. Let's say like a working person. And then after that, we need to understand like the motivations or the pain points. So throughout the process of achieving that goal. And then after that, you need to map out the buyer's journey. So that's also like in depth. We'll go through the next in the next conversation. And then after that, you just have to revise like what have you done.
Okay. Roobee, was there anything that you wanted to add on that?
Yeah. So even when creating or mapping rather customer journey, a lot of people think, oh, customer journey is just one long journey of a customer from start to beginning, but actually it's better when trying to create these customer journeys to split them into 4 different, I don't want to use the word journey again, but journey. You have an awareness journey, and this is usually how do you catch the attention of the customers. So are these people coming, which and when you create these personas, that's when you'll know that this particular person, I need to create awareness for them through emailers or through social media. And then once you have that awareness journey, you then go into consideration journey. Consideration journey is what are the tools and features you're going to showcase to this customer so that they can consider to even purchase your product. The placement, and a lot of times this is achieved from UI UX. And then there is both the consideration and the decision making, which is the next journey. Why would they decide? What makes them decide that I will choose this product instead of the other? And then the last one is retention. At the end of the day, customer journey is what the customer does at every stage. And an experience, a customer experience, is how they feel while they're going through that journey. And at the end of the day, if the customer is pleased with that journey, you are able to retain these customers. So ensuring that even after a product or service is delivered, that there is some sort of retention cycle that offers freebies. This is how they can achieve. But the important thing is to know your customer. Is your customer likely to stay with you if you give them more freebies, or if you give them discounts? Yeah.
So it's really like what you're saying is that the customer experience, the customer journey overlaps with the sales cycle or the sales journey of the customer. And as you take them down the sales funnel from awareness to I'm kind of ready to buy but not yet ready to buy, and now
Exactly.
I'm really need this and really need to buy this, and then I've bought this now, and can I get some help on how to use it?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like it's a sales and marketing strategy, and it's a funnel. And with a lot of now in this e-commerce or online era, many times you can reach a customer through awareness, but it's not a promised sale. So how do you make sure that you can still make them consider your product rather than the next one?
Okay, great. So maybe now we jump into the meat of the conversation. Like, I know we want to see some actual journey, right? So maybe we talk through, Roobee, if we can talk through one example of a journey, and maybe give the audience a sense of how this journey works, and where different experiences play into that journey.
Yeah, I'll talk about an experience in the fashion industry with
maybe
online
Maureen,
shopping.
do we have the slide for that? We can share.
Yes, we do. We also have some questions section.
I'm sorry?
We have questions. Active questions if answer those.
No, I'm sorry, we can't hear you clearly.
I'm saying we have some questions in the chat section.
Okay.
Yes, maybe perhaps answer those while I'm pulling up the slide.
Okay, got you. Let's see the questions. So the first one, how many customer journey maps do I need? Do I need a customer journey map for every persona or customer segment? Okay, that's a good question. Who wants to take that? Mussa?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, good. How many maps do you need? How many journey maps?
So every customer is different, and customers are willing to pay any fee for personalization of the experience. So I believe, like, you need to, as you said, you need to identify like your customers, and it should all be in a different map because they're all different. For instance, there's issue of accessibility. A person who maybe who is facing difficulty to work is the challenges that he's experiencing is quite different from a person who's young and can work. That's a very different personas. So I think so you need to have like as many personas as possible, depending on your customer that you have defined.
Okay, thanks, Mussa. So there's one more question. We'll take it at the end. Maybe Roobee, you can start.
Yeah, so I was talking about the evolution of fashion shopping, and before we had physical stores where we could walk in, get a look and feel of the fabric, the shoes, the accessories, and even have an in-person assistant to help us to shop. And then came online shopping, where when it just started, there were just hyperlinks and image grids, and then there came a discussion about people not having enough information or not seeing enough information on those sites to be able to make decision on how to purchase. And then also there used to be like a lot of returns, and which could be costly to the businesses. And at the time, a lot of the brands also introduced virtual fitting rooms where you could literally size yourself, visualize, and try on clothes. But we've come a long way from that, and the learning is that that transition and understanding and learning that market, it's a product or that needs that kind of interaction. And when you're trying to buy things like clothes, you want to have some sort of reference from the people that are providing, from the same people that would be using this. And so today's sites, and I'll reference to a website called Shein, which I know a lot of people shop from. It's a relatable platform, it's an approachable platform, and it's review driven. The site and a lot of other online shopping sites use influencers, social media for creating awareness. And they look for people who look like some of these consumers to show them how the wear of the clothes is and how the experience, how the clothes can be worn. And so that they can make those decisions to now purchase the products. And in addition to that, once you have purchased, they even have an incentive for you including reviews. So if you comment on a certain purchase and how you felt about your purchase, and if you even add an image, you get more points, which then helps you to do more shopping. So here, you are not only creating a feel of assistance through the buyers or purchasers community, but you're also keeping the customers coming back because they know that they can trust the site. They know that they can get a first-hand experience or review from their community.
Okay, great. So maybe I can ask, so a lot of, fashion, let's say in some of our markets is bought on WhatsApp, right? People share photos on WhatsApp and say, look, are you interested in this? So how might a customer journey look like there, and how might someone improve that customer journey from your perspective?
Yeah, that's actually a good question, and I'll give you another use case for that. There's actually a couple of skincare, hair care products that are being sold through WhatsApp, social media right now. And I've personally, as a consumer, come to the experience that there is an individual who sells their product at a much more pricier rate than the other one. But from a customer or consumer's experience, every time I receive a bundle of products from this individual, they will always share some sort of sample size for me, which if I saw them on the catalog, I would think it's too expensive, but they send you these sample size to test out, and then you're hooked. So understanding your market and understanding what they need. And then not only that, but like I mentioned, there is interaction as well. So these consumers these business owners are continuously looking for ways to interact with their customers, to make them feel like they're part of this community, that the service and products are there for them. And when you are shopping online, that is the one thing for a lot of people, is that they want to feel like they can buy these products, that they belong in this, and they have enough information to even purchase these products. So I think a lot of the business owners right now, even here locally on WhatsApp and Instagram, they go the extra mile to provide all these extra support to the consumers and putting their
Maybe
product
like
out there.
how might, what does a typical journey look like? And maybe what might they improve in that journey, like right now, if you were to buy on Instagram or right from a cosmetics shop or a store?
So from Instagram, I would say, and this is Instagram or WhatsApp. In fact, these products have, or rather these platforms have gone an extra mile to creating a a usable platform for them. You know, WhatsApp now has catalog reviews, and you can actually have a assistance. So if you have a business, I think a lot of these owners need to take use of these different features that Instagram or Facebook or WhatsApp is providing, these or rather assistant support, because with these platform also, if you don't respond to a customer quickly or you don't service them quickly, then they can easily go and go to another consumer, because there's actually so much out there. There's a lot of competition. So actually making use of these different services, support lines, automated chatbots, they should start making use of those kind of things to retain those customers.
Thank you. Maybe Mussa, jumping over to you now. I think you had another journey that you wanted to share with us and see how what people can learn from that.
Yeah, so my journey is I think it's something that mostly we can relate to. It's basically like the public transport space. It's something that either once in a while we've used or you got sick of it, especially here in Dar es Salaam for those guests who are coming from Dar. So the structure is typically the same if you see, like no matter what, you can still map it. It's the awareness, the consideration, the purchase, invitation, and advocacy. So like, but during these stages, like everyone experiences differently. So for instance, let's take like for instance like the Dutch services, which is notorious for being, like it's overcrowded and offering like poor experience. Like maybe let's just try how to map the customer journey on that side and see like where like the problem comes from. So for instance, like let's start with the awareness part. It happens that for new people like in Dar, they have no way like to understand like the routes or the map is, imagine like the map right inside once you check in, that's when you see the map. That's already a wrong thing. Like a person should understand like the routes. When you go to the opportunity right there, so it's basically maybe you can actually make an app for that, or you can access maybe via the web or something. You can see like how the routes go. And when it comes to checking in, there's usually no you don't know when the bus will come. You just wait over there like there's no indefinitely. Sometimes you can wait even up to 30 minutes. There's no feedback like when is the bus coming or not. When it comes to buying a ticket, you have to stand in a very long queue, a very long queue, and it's just wastage of time. And yet, once you buy a ticket, it's a contract. You still have to wait for the bus that you don't know what's coming. And then in the service delivery, the bus finally comes, it's overcrowded. You feel angry. You feel angry, and then you just want to get out of there. And then there's no way where the only way to get retention is maybe to have a monopoly or something like that. That's the only way people are going to come back. But if they had an option, people will find another option. That's why I say like when I'm at this level, I'd rather buy a car. But to me, like public transport, especially in the metro city, it's something like very essential. Like if you cannot walk in with a baby stroller inside a public transport, there's something wrong with the public transport in the city, and something has to be fixed. And then when it comes to advocacy, there's something called UBP. Long form is unique brag worthy proposition. So we're mostly used to unique value proposition, but unique brag worthy proposition is actually someone who's experiencing an efficient experience, shouting to someone using an inefficient experience. Like, why are you using that inefficient way of service? So it's something that also has to be there so as to offer a good customer service. So when just like Roobee said, retention is like giving that good customer experience, but advocacy is the customer themselves telling other customers, or I mean friends and family, like, you should not driving a car is expensive to work. You should get on the public transport. So, but that all happens if you have that's like the last stage. If you get the retention right, if you have like the purchase sale is very smoothly, and if you have the consideration phase, you have made it very easy, and the awareness part, it's very easy. That's the part where you get the advocacy part. So they are very, these are things that you can observe while you're experiencing a brand, and you can actually notice. So even if you have your product right now, and you can check like in each stage, which are the opportunities, I mean, what are the actions that the user do? I mean, what opportunities are there, and what pain points are user experiencing? And maybe someone might ask on the advocacy part, how do you measure something? I mean, your solution is efficient. It's usually just by rating. And what you can do is just take for instance, your solution is X, and then you rate it against an alternative solution. And if the difference is greater than 4, then you're in good space. The people never go back. If it's less than 4, obviously people go back to the old ways. So it's called the Delta 4 principle. It's not my principle. It's there's some entrepreneur called Kunal Shah. You can check it out. So it's something that you can use in your process to measure how efficiency. If your product is efficient, you'll get good advocacy.
Maybe to build on that, how else might you measure, your customer experience and customer journey as being a good one versus a bad one? Like, what might tell you that, Roobee?
Yeah, so as Mussa pointed out, there are actually different tools and formulas really that can be used to track this. So they're usually customer performance indicators. So when you are now creating your targets and goals, and you are then using those as the basis to now create different KPIs, or as we call them, CPIs, customer performance indicators, to then map out whether you're meeting those targets or not. And similarly to what Mussa said, every brand product has a competitor, and you can do product feature, create product feature matrices to see of a competitor who might be doing well. What is it that they're providing to their consumers that you're not? And from there, with these two factors, you can then kind of identify where the gaps are. So the key that were created. Hello.
Sorry, Roobee, I'm not sure. We're not sure if it's our connection or yours. You got stuck in the middle. Okay.
I wonder how much you heard.
Or maybe just the last part of what you were trying to say.
Yeah, so basically, and KPIs. to establish whether gap is small, which means you're there, and if the gap is big, you need to go back into the drawing board and kind of analyze what went wrong with product management. And when you're designing different products, you create different features to solve certain problems. So a lot of times you also track the usability of those features. If they're not being used, that means that there's something wrong that is not meeting that customer's needs. So you have to re-ideate that feature. Where is it still relevant or not? And also just tracking your customer journey again. If your customer is dropping off at the second stage of a process, that means the rest of them don't make sense to. The rest of it doesn't meet that customer's requirements. So again, it comes back to the customer journey, where they drop off, which are the areas where needs to be further analyzed.
Great, thank you. I think we can start wrapping up the conversation. If you have questions from the audience, please feel free to share some of your questions so that we can get some answers from the panelists. So there was one question, Mussa, maybe you can tackle this. How can I convince stakeholders that journey mapping is a valuable use of resources? So, if you're in a kind of a big corporate company and, how would you kind of convince upper management that this is something that they need to spend time on?
Okay. So
it's a good question, right?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I've been quite in both environments where the stakeholders listen and the stakeholders don't listen. So the part let me start with the stakeholders that don't listen. I think so. That's the difficult part. Yeah, can you hear me well, right? Stop. Hi, Roobee. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Yeah. So as I was saying, like maybe start with the stakeholders who never listen. So those are the stubborn ones, and there's no way. You need to be tough, and you need to document very well, and like you really need to do your homework well, like really prove like what's the benefit of doing that. As I said, like highlighting the opportunities and showing the direct impacts. Like you need to go an extra mile and do everything on at your own will, because at the end of the day, all of these things they're supposed to be followed. They're supposed to be done, because if you don't do it at some point, some things are going to turn back to you. So as a professional, you just have to stand your guard and make sure like you show like explicitly how the benefits and the opportunities that will come up in the customer journey mapping.
Any other questions from the audience? Okay. Mussa and Roobee, anything you wanted to add before we wrap up?
Check the notes now.
Nothing really on my end, but thank you for hosting this webinar. It's been a great chat, and yeah, thanks.
Right, thank you everyone for joining. Wanted to just do a little bit of a plug for Beem. So Beem is a Pan-African communication platform, and we're really passionate about customer experience and how businesses and startups can use some of our communication tools to really improve their customer experience. And as they understand their customer journey, plug in some of these communication elements to, again, wow the customer at different stages of the customer journey, whether it's awareness or retention, etc. And we have a lot of communication tools such as SMS, USSD, airtime for rewards, and most recently chat, WhatsApp chat platform that like Roobee was talking about, where businesses can now talk to customers on WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Google business messages, all in one place, and really change and kind of wow the customer experience in terms of how they're doing business on a day-to-day basis. All right. So yeah, if you're interested to learn more on our website, www.beem.africa, and someone from our team can get in touch with you as well. Thank you very much. And we'll be sharing the recording for folks that joined late.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time, guys. Bye.